Hi everyone, how are you? My name is Nduta and I'm glad to be back. It's been a while. I've missed a few videos, and as much as I want to be consistent, sometimes I just fail. And this is how I'm starting this video to say hello and karibu. I have missed you guys, and I have been missing to interact with you guys. I haven't been so far that I couldn't post in other channels. But I couldn't like do long videos and all of that. I was a bit busy, and today has been a busy day, but I said this is particularly a good day to do this video. And because the whole day, most of my day, I've been like, where? Where? You know that Kenyan thing, that's Mshangao thing, to just say some things will shock you along the journey, yeah. And where being far away from home, and even though home has not always felt like home because of the many challenges that we've gone through as third world countries, I would say, because of mismanagement and all that. And I have to say that, guys, we have to do better as people, yeah. Because everything that we want requires or calls for us to be better, to manage things better. Whatever your hands find to do it so well. But then again, we come from places where people are working so hard, people are so smart, but it's not reciprocated, yeah. If you don't get your worthy payment for what you do, and in the same situation, you still find some people getting so much for what they do, and sometimes they don't even work as hard as you, but they get so much more. It really hurts. And I know as third world countries, we're going through the most, and some are just dreamers and they want to go to places where they can see with their eyes, yeah, and reap what they hear, that you can get more, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. If you have a dream, pursue it, follow it until you catch it, yeah, if that is even possible, because the target is always moving. Anyway, I welcome you to this place. If you're new here, you're welcome. This is a good space to be, and I hope you hit that subscribe button, help us grow. And if you're an old subscriber, you guys, I just appreciate you for what you're doing. For those guys who are sharing these videos, commenting, interacting with the videos, it's such a blessing, yeah. It's always good when you comment, because you help us know that we are touching a heart somewhere out there, yeah. And yeah, so I'm so blessed to be here and just to share this with you, the very little that I can. And I know this has been odd, we have that odd kind of injili, but it's so important to just share some experiences, especially those unusual experiences for whoever has a very unusual journey, yeah. So today I want to speak about surviving the first 2 to 3 years abroad. And I know even the most person who comes here in the most comfortable way just has an issue settling into the new normal. It's not easy just changing your location. Yes, you may be the happiest person for having your dreams come true, but just getting assimilated to a new place can be quite challenging. Whether you have the money, whether you have, like, it's different. It's very, very different. And also just having your heart, move away from what you used to know, and also being stretched in a way, because for you to settle in a new place, you have to be stretched, yeah. There has to be so much learning, and also the challenge of beginning again. Even if you're how well prepared, starting all over again can be quite the challenge, yeah. So how do you survive the first 2 to 3 years? First of all, let me just admit that there's no method. Today I was walking home from work, which has been a thing that I love to do, and I was like, where the feelings I'm feeling when I walk from work or from anywhere coming home are not the same feelings I used to feel in Canada. In Canada, there was a newness, and Canada is quite old. It has a rich history. It has a rich, but I do feel like it's the aspect of Well, immigrants have been there for years, but not as many as America has had. Everybody has been pursuing that American dream. And when you think it is you, oh, you'll meet people from all over the world who have been chasing this American dream, yeah? And so they made it. Like the area we live used to be an Italian area. And when you read or watch movies that show how the Italians left their country and came to settle here, forming new traditions. And Italians are big family people. The same thing that we feel like we are as Africans, yeah? And so coming into terms with living your culture, and no matter what kind of plans you have, especially if you're moving here with the family, or if you move here even as a young person, and one time you'll come and settle with your family, it's such a strange thing, because you will feel like you're being pulled, being pulled to stay here and form new traditions, and then you don't have the clarity to know whether this is where you will be for a very long time, because sometimes God just reveals in part, yeah? And then you feel pulled back. Remember, there are people who have left with such focus, like they just know this is where I'll make it, yeah? And so they leave things without single-mindedly, because you're like, this country has shown me pepper. You come from a place where you've tried so hard to make things work and it doesn't. So you're like in pursuance of a new location where you feel like you'll get a better chance. So once you get there, you've left with a single mind that this is where I'm going to make it. And then you reach here, and then before you get used, you feel like you're being pulled back, yeah? So to this, I would say, just focus on the things you used to know. Focus on the things you used to tell yourself when you are living, yeah? And if you've written a vision, like what we talked about a few months ago, writing that vision down. Remember, that vision doesn't just come to pass because you've written. Sometimes it tarries, yeah? But in the end, it will come to pass. You have to keep your faith, because things will be so different, yeah? As much as this place is different socially, the society is different, there's so much and this is funny, I must say, because we think of this place as very, very organized, yeah? But if you come like from Africa, where we have walk-in hospitals, and you come here, you're like, the hospitals you can go to, especially in Canada, so far from most places, and then you have to pick a number and wait for so long. When you think about it, that is how the city council hospitals back home used to be. But here you do not expect that. You expect the services to be faster, but then you come here and you find some things like, or you have to have a family doctor or a primary care doctor who will then refer you to specialists if you need to see them, So you find like the system is much slower in some ways, and it might be quite a change, especially for people who are not used to that life of having a family doctor, insurance that pays for this and that, yeah? You're used to walk-ins, yeah? So granted, you'll find the walk-ins eventually, but you find that the system, in order for it to work for you, there's some things you have to go through, and that might just stretch you and sometimes annoy you, yeah? I will make that number one. If you know me, you know I don't follow this number so well. So this will take us to number 2. This is a 24-hour economy. We all know that. Those are the stories we hear. But let me tell you, nothing prepares you to the fact that you will wake up and find most establishments closed. Like you'll want to go somewhere very early. And for me, I like doing my things early, because by evening, I feel like I just want to relax. Hey, you will find most places not open. The places that are open are the jobs that we do, Like some jobs are 24-hour, like nursing, hospital, healthcare. It is 24 hours. You'll always find things running as perfectly as they run during the day. But the shop around the corner, you'll have to wait for it to open. Most supermarkets, you'll have to wait for them to open. So You know, there are some that do open early. There are places that do open early, but let me tell you my shock when I went to Canada and things were not opening early. I used to wonder now how, you know. So you find that you have to change your mind a lot. You have to manage your expectations, even though you've had that things are like this, you know, so much bigger. And yes, these are bigger economies, but things work different, and you have to manage your expectations and readjust. You have to work with what you see. You have to understand your environment and remind yourself this is a different place. Get used to it. Yeah. All right. Number 3, that shock that money doesn't come as readily as you would think. Granted, people come here in many ways, but depending on your journey, and I've mentioned my journey was an eye-opener, you know. As much as I expected that things are so different, and my husband used to tell me a lot, yeah, but I had to learn on my own. Sometimes when I look at the people back home and their expectations, and you try to talk until your saliva dries, you're trying to tell them how things are, sometimes you even realize that the thing that you have to do is just shut up and wait for people to learn. And that is why you find that whenever people come abroad, especially in America, you want to bring as many people as you can, you know, so that they come and do the same things that you're doing and you guys help each other. Yeah. So managing the fact that money doesn't come streaming in. And I know for most of us, especially mamas like me, yeah, you come expecting to, find that house, yeah, you'll find the house that you want, you'll furnish it the way you want, you know, you'll set your life in a certain way, and then you come here and you find that you have to wait for the things that you want. And sometimes you may have to, you might find yourself rushing, especially if you find like thrift stores, you will rush to get those things that you see, not knowing that eventually you'll want better things, yeah, things that you can just call your own, a fresh start, yeah. So then you have to do like people do here. You have to get rid of some things because seasons call for decluttering and changing, yeah. There's so much change in each season. I don't know if it's because the seasons here are more felt, because you can see the seasons changing, everything is changing. The vibe of it, you see it changing, yeah. So you have to go with what you see, yeah. And sometimes it may be hard for you to wait for the things that you want, you know, especially when you don't have money. So perhaps you will go for those cheap things, perhaps in the dollar stores or in the thrift stores, which is a very good thing. It's a very good practice just to get into the system, know how things are done, you know, get the things that you want at the budget that you want before you decide that you want better, because sometimes you'll want better, but where is the money? Where is the money, you know? So it may be difficult, yeah. So I'm trying not to veer off the topic because I feel like there are 2 topics in my head playing, yeah. But number 4, settling into what you get. I know sometimes it's a shock for most people when you come here and you find like the CNA jobs and all that, and at first you think, oh, a job is paying $13 an hour, a job is paying $15 an hour, you know, that is a lot when you compare with Kenya. My friend, know the economy that you're living in, because as much as you're paid, that is the lifestyle, you know, that is I'm trying to look for the word, that is the much you pay for the services, yeah. And not so much food tends to be affordable, especially in America, not so much in Canada. I found it a bit of a challenge to feed the family, but here there's just so much food. It's a question of what is the quality food that you want to go for. So yes, food is affordable, but the services are not. And just know, just the way you want to be paid a lot per hour, that's the way you pay everyone. Whether it's a plumber you've called into your house, whether you want something mended, and you can tell we live in an old city, sometimes things break down. You want to get a plumber, you want to get somebody, you'll pay them as much. Getting your hair done, you will sweat, yeah. That is how people learn to do it yourself, the DIYs, yeah. So to survive that, before you can come into your own, both financially socially even, you have to adjust to the system, yeah, and understand the money, understand the dollar. It is very powerful, but now you're living in the in the in the situation, yeah, the economic situation. You're paying by the dollar as much as you're earning by the dollar. If you send it back home, it looks like a lot, and also, you know, like as much as you send, that's the more much people want. And I see something happening in Africa where like life is so expensive, yeah. It is the same here. I wish I had better terms to explain this, but that is the way it is. So earn more according to you. You think you're earning more, but you find like that is the minimum wage, and you still have to live in a very high I can't find the word. I know you know what I'm trying to say, but yes, you spend in a very expensive economy, yeah, but somehow you learn to survive. So learn to manage your expectation, and also just find, you know, the first 2 to 3 years will help you find all those 2 places, yeah. If you know how to chase and stretch a penny, you will know how where to find what you need, yeah, before you settle down. Surviving the first 2 to 3 years, I'm telling you, as much as you as a person would want that change, you want to come to a new place, you want to make friends, you want to start your life afresh. I don't know what it is about life abroad, but it tears your expectations down very quickly. So you have all these well laid plans, yeah, especially where social life is concerned, and you may be the best person, yeah, but there's something about coming abroad or changing locations like that exposes you to yourself, such that you learn some things that you never could see clearly, yeah. Like for me, I will use myself as an example always. I used to host a lot. I used to love having my friends over to cook for them, although that started changing a bit towards coming here, yeah, because a lot of changes were happening in my life. But before you find your tribe, it will take time, and sometimes you'll feel very lonely, yeah. So the first 2 to 3 years, oh my god, I'm saying manage your expectations in every aspect, yeah. So yes, you'll find people rush into your life, and then you'll have to pick and choose who you want as they pick and choose whether they want you, and it will be a shock for you to think, oh my god, I'm open like this. I want friends of this caliber. You'll see yourself now just withdrawing and just studying, you know, the environment, some things that you never used to do. You know, that shaggy life where people can knock your door and ask for fire, ask for salt, you know, that Ubuntu thing that we have going. People here are more careful who they let into their lives, and you'll find yourself doing the same. Sometimes you'll have made so many mistakes because you think people think the same way as you do, or people do, you know. Sometimes you'll think yourself as pure, and you find yourself some traits that you have are quite toxic, you know. So it will sharpen you, it will streamline you, it will iron you out before you call yourself an abroader. If there's such a thing that people call themselves, you'll find that you've gone through the most. I don't want to get past 20 minutes of this video. I hope I've covered some things that are helpful. Maybe we'll get into the nitty-gritty of how to survive, how to rent houses that are affordable. And, you know, let me just say that for some people, especially students, and also if you're here as a single person, you may have to share a house. In the places we say plotty, but it's these old houses that people built a long time ago, and now they are aging and their children have gone away, so they rent the rooms, yeah. So people get to share, especially newcomers, because yeah, you have to do that in order to afford. So I will let you go, but we'll get into that, how to survive 2 to 3 years. And I hate when I do this, because I will do a long video and then I say I'm going to do the sequel, and sometimes I don't. So forgive me for that. And I'll see you on the next one. God bless you and keep you, make his face shine upon you, and give you peace, because that is very important. I hope for a continuity, but it's so late in the night and this is a very long video, so I hope to do another one soon as we get into other things as well. So ask your friends to subscribe so we can grow and we can focus on this, you know, some aspects of it that are very helpful. So God bless you. Bye bye.